By the ending of 2021, I took the bold step and said, I'm moving to Ghana. And so I looked around for shipping companies, and one was quoting me 9,000. And then someone said, phone this other person who's a specialist that moves stuff to Ghana all the time. And he had what they call a Luton van. And I called him and he quoted me 5,000. I really wasn't happy because he couldn't really offer me door-to-door service, and neither could the other people. And for the amount of money they were charging, it just didn't make sense. Stay tuned. You're going to find out what I did in order to move my stuff over to Ghana. So, as I said in the introduction, ending of 2021, I was determined to get to Ghana. Not only because I love Ghana, but really it was for spiritual reasons. I heard very distinctly from heaven, pack up by the end of the third quarter of 2021 and move to Ghana. And just as we were about to do all of this, my wife gets diagnosed with COVID and gets sent to hospital in London. So while she gets sent to hospital in London, I'm at work and they tell me because my wife has COVID, I have to stay at home for 2 weeks. I have to take the COVID test, which I did. So I'm at home for 2 weeks. And in the line of business that I was in, if you don't work, you don't get paid. I took the test. It came back negative. And so I went on the hunt looking for a shipping company. I'd been searching for weeks, a couple of months, and came up with 2 companies. One said that they would charge £9,000. And they said, you know, the stuff would end up at the port in Ghana and I would have to go to the port, and things weren't so easy to get my stuff from the port in Ghana. And then the other one that I spoke to was, I believe he was a Ghanaian guy, and he was charging £5,000 to fill his Luton van with our stuff. And I just wasn't happy because this was just too much money just to ship your stuff, because not only did we have to ship our stuff, but we had to find a place to live in Ghana and pay the rent. And over here, they pay the rent by the year or 2 years, and the shortest amount of time would be 6 months. So what did I end up doing? Spoke to my wife. She was saying that maybe we should postpone. And I said, no, we're not going to postpone, because the Lord has said we need to leave the UK by the third quarter of 2021. So we did. But what happened was she advised me that there was this shipping company, which she had used before to send, I believe, a barrel, or her mom had used to send a barrel to Ghana. And they came over to the house, they itemized all the stuff, and it came to just under £2,000. Can you believe that? So from 9,000 to 5,000, all the way down to just under 2,000. Can you believe it? These guys just showed up, came into their house, itemized all the stuff. They noted down what was what. And as they itemized the stuff, they said, okay, this costs this costs that, this costs this. They added it all together, came to under £2,000. Crazy, isn't it? If you don't shop around, you just get taken for a ride everywhere in the world. It's not just Ghana. This stuff happens everywhere in the world. And no, this was Ghanaians that were providing the service. So those of you that like to say Ghanaians just like to con everybody, it's not true. Not all Ghanaians are like that. So got our stuff over, and I'm going to give you some tips, and I'm going to leave a link to the company that actually shipped our stuff. I'm going to leave their link in the description. Okay. I've heard there's another company in the US, I believe they're called U&U or something like that, that you can use. But I'm going to talk about one particular company in the UK called Jabico, and they're the ones that we use to ship all our stuff. So I'm going to give you some tips that when you are shipping your stuff, wherever you may be in the world, you're planning to move to the continent of Africa, you're planning to move to Asia, here's a couple of tips. Okay, don't go for the global shippers, the big companies, the ones that everybody uses, because most of the time they're not offering a door-to-door service and they're normally going to be pretty expensive. I mean, you just go online and check the big shippers like DHL and FedEx and all of that for shipping, you know, large objects. It's going to make you sweat. So I wouldn't advise you to ship stuff using the big global shippers. Instead, go look for shipping companies that specialize in shipping door to door to the specific countries that you are trying to get to. Okay. And do your research. Go online, go on Reddit, go on the different places and find out what people are saying about that particular shipping company. Number two, there are, for instance, in Ghana, there's some items that you cannot ship to Ghana. Yes, I said there's items you cannot ship to Ghana. You can't ship old refrigerators. So if you've got that nice big, like we had this nice big American refrigerator with an ice machine, you know, with the little drinks thing. Oh man, this thing costs an arm and a leg. And guess what? It was too old, so we weren't able to ship it. Lovely fridge, couldn't ship it. So we had to get here and buy a different fridge. So you're not going to be able to ship old refrigerators. You're not going to be able to ship old air conditioners. And there are a few other items that you're not going to be able to ship. But in Ghana, you can buy TVs, refrigerators, stoves, beds, and all this other stuff. So if you're planning to move and you don't necessarily want to bring some of the old stuff, then you don't need to. You can ship like new furniture and old furniture and stuff like that. That's not going to be a problem. I'll also advise you to have a checklist of your stuff. So have some kind of checklist of things. Write down all your items. Even though the shipping company might do this, make sure that you do it. Make sure you have a list of all your items. If you want, take pictures of the conditions that the items are in. I can't vouch for shipping companies that I've never used, but in some cases you find that shipping companies bring stuff and the stuff arrives damaged because of the way items are treated. So if you know you're bringing or shipping electronics, make sure when it's being packaged, stuff is padded and packed well, and itemize everything so that when it gets to the other side and you've taken your photographs and the condition is shown, that if there's any problems, you can contact that shipping company and make sure that you're compensated for any damages or any loss. All right, well, that's it for now. And we'll be back very, very soon with more information for those of you that are moving out of the West and all over to the other parts of the world, Asia, South America, Africa. This is the place to come to get some good information on living life outside of the current system. Bless you. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned to this channel for another episode of the Intelligence Report. I've been Dr. Joseph Opare, your host. Bye for now.